Welcome to the Conscience of Kansas radio show with Paul A. Ibbetson, a no-nonsense conservative talk show that looks at the local, state, and national issues that affect the people of Kansas. And now, here's Paul A. Ibbetson.
And ladies and gentlemen, Wayne Perryman, he is does many things. Author of a very interesting book on Obama. He also is a lecturer and speaker. And Wayne, we'd like to welcome you to the program.
Glad to be with you today, Paul.
Well, I saw your video of you talking at one of the tea parties, and after your video, you addressed a little bit of what's been going on with the Tea Party people, really the framing of what's been happening, and you sort of laid out the idea, you know, this framing of the Tea Party people as being racist, angry, haters, and you laid out a very interesting thoughts on just, you know, who's really been behind a lot of the racism in this country. And I guess before we start with that, I wonder if you could just tell our folks just a little bit about yourself and how you got to doing all this wonderful writing and stuff.
Well, I'm an inner city minister in the Seattle area, and most of my life I voted Democrat, supported Democrat candidates, helped them with fundraising projects. And in about the year 2000, many of the young people were coming off the streets and giving their life to Christ and going back to school, and they started asking questions about politics. And they were wondering which party was best for African Americans. And obviously I told them the Democratic Party. I said the Democrats have done more for blacks than the Republican Party. And so they said, well, that's great. We know that you've written several other books. We know that you're a scholar. And why don't you give us some books that you would recommend that verifies what you're saying so that we can make our arguments in school? And I started going to check to get information to support my theory that the Democrats have done more for African Americans than Republicans, and I couldn't find a thing. And what proved to be true was the Democrats was the biggest racist political institution possibly in the entire world, definitely in the United States, but possibly in the entire world. I was shocked. I was angry. I was wondering why they didn't reveal this information in school or why they kept it from African Americans. And so I documented all of my findings in the book entitled Unfounded Loyalty, an in-depth look in the love affair between blacks and Democrats. More recently, on March 18, 2008, Barack Obama gave a speech concerning Jeremiah Wright, and friends called me and said, look, why don't you straighten this guy out? He's calling America racist, and our nation is a nation of slavery and racism. And so that prompted me to write the latest book, The Drama of Obama, regarding racism, setting the record straight that it is not America. America has never been racist. It was the Democratic Party within America that was racist. It wasn't all white people who were racist. It's those whites who followed the Democrats' racist agenda that were racist. So the latest book, The Drama of Obama, gives a historical perspective from 1619 to the beginning of the Democratic Party all the way up to 2008, showing the kinds of things that the Democratic Party did to African Americans, and that certainly included the great Jimmy Carter, the former president of the United States, who called the Tea Party participants racist.
Well, it's a very interesting book, and folks can find that book through Amazon.com and all of your major book outlets. We have it linked up at our master website of Superior Conservative Values at www.ibbetsonusa.com. We also have Wayne's website at wayneperryman.com linked up there as well. You know, just starting with the Tea Party incident, you know, I've been to several Tea Parties, and the last one I was at was our state's biggest, one of our biggest ones there in Wichita, Kansas, and I was the host that called up the people that would speak, and I was up there for the entire event. And I think you're very accurate, and I think you're very measured when you said, look, of course, there are people that will show up at a Tea Party that will not be, invited by the Tea Party people, that will not share, that will have some radical views. That happens. It's like any kind of public event. You go to a high school basketball game. There's liable to be a few idiots, for lack of a better word, that will show up that does not represent the entire, school body or whatever. And you gave the example of Martin Luther King and his rallies. And of course, we all know the wonderful work he did. But yes, he was, people tried to give and put guilt by association to Dr. King. And it wasn't legitimate at all. And so I thought that was very interesting that you would lay that out. But when we look at the Tea Party goers, these are the vast majority of these people are just regular folks. I mean, regular folks from your community, seniors, young adults, businessmen, farmers. That's what we had in Wichita. That's what we had here in Manhattan. That's what we had in Topeka and all throughout the state of Kansas. Regular people that had legitimate questions about what's going to happen with our country. And the idea that Jimmy Carter or anyone else would say those are racist people, that they are only there because they hate the president because he's black, is offensive. It's offensive to me, and it's offensive to many other people that know that that's just not true. So I thought it was very bold of you to stand up and talk about that.
Well, it's true that these white people put Barack Obama in office. If we're such a racist nation, he never would have been president. It's the white vote that put Barack Obama into office. And when radical people see an opportunity to infiltrate a group, they would take advantage of that gathering to spread their agenda or to try to influence their audience. And as you stated, and I stated in my YouTube video, Dr. King had a tremendous problem because communists and black militants infiltrated his demonstrations, and that's why he had a difficult time trying to convince J. Edgar Hoover, the FBI chief, that he was not a communist. It's because they took pictures of his crowds and they identified communists, and we know that it came out that his speechwriter was a devout communist, and Dr. King had to get rid of him because Dr. King didn't know that he was communist. But these groups that are drawing Joe Blow, your neighbor next door, they're not affiliated with any other group except the conservative values that are in their heart that prompt them to go out and say, enough is enough. And as an African American, I'm tired of people playing the race card on issues that have nothing to do with race. It only has to do that they differ with this president, and if this president was Asian, Latino, or white, they still would disagree with this policy. Absolutely. Has nothing to do with this color at all, Mr. Jimmy Carter.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Reverend Perryman, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. I hope you can stay with us because we want to talk with you some more at length about your book and your websites and other things you're doing. Can you hold on with us for just a moment?
Absolutely.
Very
My
good.
Pleasure.
Excellent.